So this webinar is going to be relatively short um, for a webinar anyways. We're going over Civil 3D tips and tricks and labeling made easy with CTC Sim Tools and Label Genie. My name is Patrick Smith. I'm a civil technical specialist here at ATG. I've had about 4 years of AutoCAD experience and Civil 3D experience. General IT knowledge before this. I have a 1 year Revit experience, and I like to do 3D modeling and 3D printing as a hobby on my spare time. Here at Civil 3D or here at ATG, I tend to do mostly production work and some mentoring on the side for companies and teachings. So that's what I do here at ATG, and then obviously I give some webinars here and there. All right, what are we going to be looking at here today at this webinar? We're going to be going over a few system variables that, if used, they can help you with your, some things are a nuisance. For example, unreconciled layers. I'm going to just show you real quick how to turn those off so you don't ever have to deal with them again. I do have a few people that rather have their unreconciled layers pop up, but for those who don't, I will show you how to turn those off. We're going to go over some quick and easy custom viewport creation, viewport rotations with the align space command. CTC tool label Genie, which is really cool. I'm going to give you a really brief overview of the label Genie. And then I'm going to show you some hardware that actually helps me out with production. And if I'm going to be honest, the hardware part is probably my most favorite part of all this. It speeds up my workflow immensely, and I will show you exactly what I mean when I get to that at the end here. All right, so from here, I'm going to just go ahead and jump on into Civil 3D. All right, to start off here, I am using Civil 3D 2021, and then I'm using the 2021.2 update. If you're interested, all of these tips and tricks, they will also work in 2020. So don't worry about that. If you're running 2020, I believe they'll also work in 2019 as well. But I know for a fact 2020, any version in there, these updates or these tips and tricks will also work in there as well. All right, so unreconciled layers. What are unreconciled layers? They're just layers that are being brought in from XREFs. So for example, I'm going to bring in a really simple XREF here, but it's also going to give you those unreconciled layers that I'm talking about. Attach DWG here. Navigate to my XREF. All right. So I just had this simple line geometry come in. However, even this simple line geometry here will bring in unreconciled layers. And you can see those if you open up your layer properties here. Go over here and it says unreconciled layers. Now, every single time that you print, you always have to, Control A on these and reconcile your layers here. So what happens if you don't want to actually do that? They are system variables that allow you to get by that. And all you have to do is type in layer, notify, all right, and turn this variable from 1 to 0. All right, and I'm going to do, also the other one is going to be layer eval. Now, you should probably use the CTL, but if you use the layer eval command here and set that to 0, it'll do the same thing. But I'm going to use CTL, layer eval CTL, and then turn that to 0. If I detach this and then I bring it back in, let's make sure that nothing's in there. Okay. Oh, and also while I'm doing this, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and throw them up in the chat box or the questions and answers, and I'll get to them at the end of my presentation here. Or if I happen to see them as I'm doing this, I'll try to get to them. All right, so I'm gonna go back to, bring that over. Bring in my XREF. Got too many screens here, things are popping up. All right, overlay, good to go. If I go to my layer properties, no longer do I have unreconciled layers pop up over here. Also, when I go to print that you have reconciled layers, dialog box always pops up. It no longer will pop up anymore. So that is a very useful tool. Some people don't like it. Some people like to see the new layers that come in. But if that doesn't apply to you, feel free to use unreconciled layers. Tip there. The next one I want to talk about is your zoom factor, which is a pretty simple tip here. But if you type in zoom factor, you notice that default is at 60. If we do, I don't know, 5 zoom factor, you can see how slowly it zooms in and out. Lets you get a little bit more precise. I like to have mine actually set to 10 because I like, you know, I feel like that is a reasonable zoom factor for me. It does take a little bit more time to zoom in on things, but I think it works out a little bit better. But the default is 10, and the highest range that you can go to is 100, and the lowest factor you can go down to is 3. So I'm just going to reset that to default, as you can see here. The next one I'm going to do is we're just going to create some viewports. Now, some people may know how to do viewports. Some others may not know how to do viewports so well. But we're just going to create some simple viewports by using shapes. Now, not very many people know that you can actually create circles here, and go to your layout tab, if I can find it here. And then under your layout viewports here, you can go to object, select your objects. Now you can create circular viewports. You can create any shape that your heart can muster up. Just a simple square you can do, as long as it's closed off anyways. An object there, create viewports that way. Really, really handy if you're trying to do something specific, just trying to get a certain location on your, or maybe a detail of something. So that is creating viewports with shapes. So the next one is something that I have found not very many people know. A lot of people know this command called dview twist, and that's how they kind of rotate their viewports around. I feel like that's kind of an older method of sorts. And let's say on this viewport, I unlock it. Oh, another thing is always lock your viewports. Big tip there. Many people know about it. Not too many people actually use it. So it's gonna hit that lock button right here. Whenever you're done messing around with viewport, setting your scale, big tip, hit the lock button. Saves a lot of headache. All right. However, I'm gonna be using it. So I'm gonna come in here. Oh, I got this region sitting here. Let's say instead of looking at it this direction here, I actually wanted to get this alignment here parallel with my viewport here. So I'm going to use a command called align space. With align space, you're going to pick your first point. I'm going to get my endpoint set here. Your first point's going to be within model space. So you want to come down to the first point is going to be whatever's going to be on the left-hand side of your viewport, and then you're going to go up to the right-hand side of your viewport. So I want to look at this from left, from this down here over to here on my viewport. All right. So the second command here is now it wants me to select how I want to see it on my viewport, and I want to go from left to right here as well. This is very crucial that you continue going left to right, or however you want to see it. Otherwise, you're going to have your viewport's going to be flipped to 180. All right, so I wanted to go left to right, and I'm going to hit spacebar. Now, yes, it will throw your scale out. That is just something you're gonna have to deal with this. So you're just gonna have to get your view set up correctly how you want it, and then you're gonna have to set it back to whatever scale it was at. I don't remember what this was. 40 looks good. All right, and then again, lock the viewport once you get it set up correctly. All right. So another helpful little thing that I can show you here is what if you're creating sheets and you're trying to get your match lines set up and you want your match lines exactly where you're trying to create your, like where your sheets are set. So with that, I'm going to use this command called change space. And I can actually take a polygon or a rectangle, get my viewport set. So I'm going to change my color here. Let's just go with something different so we can kind of see it. I'm going to draw a rectangle. I am in layout tab here, so paper space. All right, draw my rectangle over top of my viewport. And now I'm going to do the command called change space, if I can spell it correctly. Oh, CH space, I'm sorry. It's going to ask me what I'm trying to change space on. What change space? I'm going to send one thing from paper space and I'm going to throw it into model space. I want to take that polygon or that rectangle I just created and I want to put that into paper or model space. Now it's going to ask me the viewport. If you had multiple viewports thrown up, you can select which ones you want. But this is the correct viewport that I wanted. All right. So once that's done, I'm going to double click. It's going to have that viewport activated after you're done with that. Now, if you go to model space, there it is. This is going to be the extent of where your match lines will be set up exactly, depending on the size of your viewport and whatever. If this was a different size and you traced over top of it, then you change space again, that would show you exactly where your match lines would be. No more guessing on where your match lines would be by, I don't know, however you do it with your stations or whatever. Just get the exact location and where your match lines are going to be. Also, it helps you kind of lay out where you want to put if all your viewports are the same size, you can kind of just lay out every location of where you want your viewports to be located at as well. All right. So do I have any questions here? I know I'm going a little fast, I feel like, but I don't have any questions. I'm just going to keep going on. I can always go back and redo something that I did before. Like I said, I might be going a little bit too fast for some people. I don't always do webinars, so I tend to ramble quick. All right, the next thing that we're going to do here is going to be using a tool called CTC tool, Label Genie. So this is a paid piece of paid tool. However, I think once you see just this tool alone, what it can do, it might be worth it. Save time, over the course of a year's time, this right here can save hours and hours and hours worth of time. So then that's only one tool in the list of a whole bunch of tools that we got here. So Label Genie, I'm going to select this here. It's going to pop up with this Label Genie dialog box from CTC Tools. All right. Here we can include multiple drawings that we want to add labels to. I'm just going to use this one single drawing here. I'm going to keep this Label Genie very basic. Up here at the top, there's a videos button, brings up the YouTube page. And then you can watch all the videos here. Got a big introduction of this 30-minute long Label Genie tutorial here, and it still only covers a little bit of what this Label Genie can do. It's very powerful. All right, what I'm going to do is I want to put labels on my bearing and distances on these lot lines here to start off with. So I am going to go to line and curve, just like you would do a line and curve label. All right, polylines. I'm going to come on over to the layer list right here, and then I'm gonna select the layer list that I want to. In the wrong file here. Let's go over to the geometry one. Forgot to move over. Line and curve, polylines. Select the layer that I want. Hit OK. Anchor point segments. And then I'm going to come over to my format tab here. I want bearing and distance for my format here. Curve style, kind of don't need to worry about that right now. And I just hit update labels. All in one click, all of your lot lines here have been created with distances and bearings on them. Do the same thing here, but I'm going to do it with the lot fronts. I'm just going to have distance for those ones. Come to line and curve, polylines. Select my lot line here, lots front, hit OK. For this one, I'm going to go to the formatting, and I just want my distance. Go to my distance and radius. Yeah, that'll work for my curves, because I do have some curves on this one. Yeah. Update labels. All right. Yeah, you might have to move some labels around or delete a couple that you didn't want to actually be there. But in the long scheme of things, the long term, I believe that this is a much faster way of labeling rather than individually clicking each line as you go over adding your labels to these. Rana, what if I don't have Sim Suite in your AutoCAD? Then you could. So that's the thing, is that if you don't have this tool, then you would be stuck with the adding labels just like right here manually to each line. I will show you where you can check out Sim Project Suite. There is a free trial. And if I go over to, you can get a free trial of this. And if you didn't even want to continue with the free trial, you can always get it and have it on your computer or on your CAD. And the light color green ones here, you will always keep corridor cleanups, part swapper for your pipe networks, survey sweeper, feature to align. So even if you didn't want to pay for this or you didn't want to continue along with your free trial, you can always keep these 4 items here, the light green ones. And even that is, I would say, I mean, they're free. I mean, I don't know what else you can say about that. They are immensely helpful. And then if you aren't sure what they do, you can always, when you have it installed, or if you go to the YouTube channel, you can check out what they are. And that's just TTC software. If you search it on YouTube here, you can check out everything out from there. All right. Erica Lopez, you have a question about the match line and layout, how to make double viewports with the match line. So if I'm understanding that correctly, I will go back to here. Trying to think of what you're trying to ask there. Match line and layout. Double viewports with a match line. So are you asking Erica if you have, let's say if you had 2 viewports? If I create box here, H space. If I use my align space command, well, how I would do it is copy that, bring that over here. And I'm not even sure if this is what you're asking, Erica. So if this is not what you're asking, then please let me know. You can either write it in chat or write another question. If I have another one, I'd do zoom because I know that this viewport here is exactly the size that I need it to be. Zoom window. Oops. Oh, yeah. So with that, and now I believe it's a little bit different using STB or CTB, but if I have both of these here, now I know this is a little exaggerated because they're huge, but let's say I have something like this and I'm showing, but I want this side right here is my existing quote unquote, and this side is what I'm working on, but I want this side to be grayed out and one side in color. Now, what I could do is I can click on the inside of this viewport here, and I go to my layer properties. All right. And underneath what's called a viewport color, and it is different if you're doing STB. If it's STB, you're going to be going under what I believe is, what is it called? It's a line type or something where you're going to put it from fine, but you're going to do a screened if it's you're using STB. But if you're using your color CTB, it's going to be viewport color. And what we do here is I go back. Viewport color, select one, Control A, change that color on the viewport color tab to your screened color, which is usually probably like a 252 or 253 color. All right. And then, yeah, that's a little too dark here, but if it was in the black background of that, you'd be able to see it. Now you have your proposed quote unquote location, and then you have your the other portion up here that's going to be grayed out. Did that make sense to you, Erica? And let me know. So I just controlled this viewport right here with the viewport color inside of the layer properties right here. It's going to be sitting right next to your actual color right here. So don't expand these and make sure you're doing the right one, but it's going to be viewport color here. That controls everything. Now that doesn't change anything inside the model space. That only controls what you see through a viewport. All right. Where was I here? Change space. I did that one. Did the CTC. All right. So now I kind of want to, feel free to throw in more questions. I can come back to this, but I really want to get onto the hardware. Something it makes me really excited to talk about is hardware. As an IT guy, I just love it. The hardware that I use to speed up my production is these right here, macro keys. All right. And all this is a little keypad. You can either, and I'm not saying one product is, I just grabbed a few different ones that I found on the web and threw them in here. I'm not saying one product's better than another one. I have this one right here, and they all essentially do pretty much the same thing. Don't let the colors fool you. You know, colors are just colors. However, what the important part is assigning macros to each key. Now, as you can see here, I have, regen all, you're always typing regen whenever you're messing around with viewports or something gets messed up, regen. So I have a key to just one click regen all. One thing that I have recently done is set up a macro for my audit commands and my purge commands, my minus purge commands. I have those set to these two buttons right here. Polyline, draw a quick polyline. And I know a lot of people are really quick on their keyboards, but one click's faster than two clicks. I don't care how you put it. 1 click is always going to be faster than 2 clicks. I have all my basic commands set up right here on my keypad. I have my save function, quick save set to the little button on the right hand side here. So I'm always hitting save. If you guys been working with Civil 3D for a while, you know that the quick save is, you're always saving. Crashes 100% a lot of the time, right? When you're not wanting it to crash. All right, so I have a quick save button right at my fingertip. Now they also have, if you don't want a whole keypad, if you're not really into the whole keypad, they do have mice now that mostly are used for gamers and such, but they don't have to be. All this, the macros is for, you can set them up for AutoCAD too. This is not just for a gaming device, all right? You can set, you got little buttons on the side of your mice here, and you can put, your polylines, purge, whatever you want to do to these 12 buttons on the side, or you can have a circular macro button here as well. When you search for something, just type in, macro for mice or whatever, and it'll pop up on Amazon or wherever you go, or keypad, and that's it. And I just want to show you this purge and audit comes in real handy. I have it hooked up now, and I'll just show you exactly what it does. So right now I'm going to do my audit. So it just types in audit, and it just goes through without even touching anything. I just hit one key, and it runs through the whole audit scheme. All right. Just like so. Now I'm going to use my minus purge to purge out the reg apps. All right. Deleted reg apps. Now I'm going to do my audit again. 1-click buttons cleans up your drawings just like that. Another thing, I used this earlier, was my, I was using copy, and it's just one click keys. Now this keypad helps me out immensely with all of my production work. Speeds up things so quickly. So, and I also have to say is that your system too. I want to throw out BIMbox. I don't have a slide for that this time around, but BIMboxes is what I'm using. Just Google up BIMbox, and I'm using the laptop version of BIMbox, and it's extremely fast. So definitely check out BIMbox if you are in the market for a new computer for your office or for home, whatever, running AutoCAD at home. The laptops are bar none from there's the absolute best for running AutoCAD. I've had mine for over a year and had 0 issues with my BIMbox. All right. So also need to throw out, check out the YouTube page here. We can check out all these videos if you showed up a little bit late to this webinar and you want to check out what I talked about before you got in. This video is being recorded and it will be uploaded to our YouTube page at youtube.com/ATGUSA. So at some point in hopefully this week, it will be uploaded to the YouTube page there. And you can go back, check out what I did, maybe slow it down. I'm sorry if I went a little bit too fast. It's just something I need to work on. But check it out here and you can go over all those different commands that I have done. Unreconciled layers, zoom factor, viewports using shapes, align space, change space command. All right. And if you have any questions, this is my email right here. Or if you want to come back to something and send me an email, I'll answer it, give soon as I can. Or if you didn't want to ask it here in chat, shoot me an email. If you had any questions about what I did or maybe the hardware that I was talking about, shoot me an email. I would love to talk to you about that. I get very geeky and nerdy about the hardware aspects of everything. So, Rana asks a question here. Just a second, I'm reading it. Rana, is that block that you're using, is it a dynamic block, as in it can be changed from one block to a different block? Is it a dynamic block? Is that what you, dynamic? That might just, and don't quote me on this. That could be a Civil 3D thing, where it, waterline valve, for example. That could be a Civil 3D thing where you just, it's just an annoyance within Civil 3D. I don't have an answer for that right now, like, because it's happened to me too. So you're not alone. Uh, I have not found a way around that. I just, it's very annoying. I know. Sorry if I don't give you an answer for that, but it's definitely an annoyance, and I have not found a workaround for that yet either. So, and if someone in this chat room or this webinar does have an answer for that, feel free to throw it in there. We're all here to help each other out. Bilayer without having to fix 20. Let me check that out here off the fly. I don't really have any actual decent multi-leader set up in these drawings here. I'm using a different AutoCAD than my actual AutoCAD version. So multi-leaders, and you said if I have 100 multi-leaders where the text editor has been changed, is there a way to fix the color? Oh, yeah, I don't even have my text editor thing pop up. The editor settings. For example, like that. Is that correct there? Oh, I did that. And you want to change all of these other ones to that color? Okay, let's see. Yeah, or if we want to change them all to yellow. Let's see if we can do this. Ooh, Yeah, I do. I don't know. I think you got me on this one. Um, well, at this point in time, I do not see a way. I think I'm stuck just like you are on that one. If I had a little bit more time and I don't want to troubleshoot this throughout the entire time, I would do it. But off the top of my head here, I am not seeing a way how to get it to change. If anybody knows, feel free to throw it in there. You might know the answer to this. But um yeah. Uh because match property isn't even be working for that one. Let me see. Let me see something. If I go into now, this may not answer your question specifically, but no. Nope, that was not what I needed to do. The leader. So you might want to go into your multi-layer style manager, and if all of those, I mean, you what you could do is create a new one, Rana, and create a new multi-layer and do what I just did here, where you go to modify, or actually you would end up doing it inside of new and then copying, and then you'd go over to your contents, and then you would create, you do the text color right here, and then let's see. And then if I hit close, will it do it? Just like so. So that might be a solution for you. Oh yeah, John, how? That's exactly, yeah, exactly. That's what I would say as well. Rana, yes, I will. So let's say we want to turn these, and I'm not sure why this didn't change. I think it's because I had that overridden. Um, if let's say we want to turn all the text here to red, okay, for whatever reason, what you would probably do is you're going to go to up here in your annotate tab where you got your multi leaders here under the drop down where it says leaders. All right. I'm going to create new, and I'm going to do a copy of this. Now yours is probably going to say whatever you created, whatever you had here. All right. And then I'm going to do, all right. And then this new box here is going to pop up. It's going to start off here on leader format. What you want to do is come over to the content tab, go down to text color. All right. And you want to turn it to what we're going to do is red just for sakes. And at this point, you can change anything else too if there's anything that you want to change. But we're going to do this. Yeah, okay, so now I have a new style here. All right. Now I want to take all of the ones that I want to be changed, and I'm going to come down to, if I went to the right place here, annotate, I'm going to come over to your new style here. Now, this one did not change because I have it overridden. So if you have ones that, if you've already gone into some or half of them or whatever, and your text formatting is already overridden, you want to go back to by layer. All right. I believe this one is still, yeah, that one's having issues. But this would be the suggestion that I have for you is you're going to want to create a new multi-layer style to do it quick and easy rather than going in each individual one and changing it inside the text editor. And if you already have them set hard coded for whatever reason, you're going to want to change them there. So. Do we have any more questions? Again, if that does not work, feel free to email me another question or whatever that you might have. We can maybe go over that individually or however you want. If it's 5 minutes or so, I don't mind making a quick call. But set up a time. Today, I'm going to, after this is done, I'm pretty booked for this today. I have a deadline here coming up. So, but tomorrow I have a little bit, I got some time free. So if you wanted to do a quick 5 minute call, I can go over that with you individually. Does anybody have any other questions? All right. Well, that's gonna end up here, or gonna end my webinar for today. I know it was a kind of a short one. This video again will be put up on YouTube, so you can go back if and rewatch that. Also, Rana and Erica, if you want to check out how I did those things, what I showed you guys. So. Hope everyone has a wonderful day and a good weekend coming up. And thanks for joining my webinar.